They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free. I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every...
Live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, March 5th. Glad you're in, everybody. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Welcome on in on a busy Wednesday night. Still over here on the State of the Union set. Glad you're in. Paul Nolan's here. He's got some news. Rick Delgado back off the night off. He's going to have some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Glad you're in, everybody, whether you're watching on Real America's Voice or on all social media. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, follow if you're on social media. We appreciate it. Mr. Nolan, how are you?
I like we got the Fetterman collection going, you and I, tonight.
Yeah.
It's miserable out there.
Oh, man. The weather in New York is unbelievable right now.
Cold, damp wind. Oof.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to tell you, maybe I'm going to... All right, that's it. I'm on my soap.
Good.
We stayed up late last night. A lot of coffee. The audience was a rip. Had a great time. I think Trump was the best he's ever been last night. His comedic timing, I wanted to talk about tonight. He sets him up and boom, he knocks him down. So I got home and I was kind of buzzing from the caffeine, the endorphins. And so I went into an eating frenzy.
Yeah.
If it wasn't bolted down, I ate it.
Okay.
I threw ketchup on the cat.
Okay.
I couldn't stop it. So it's like 1:30 before I finally ready to go to bed. So I didn't set my alarm clock. I figured I want to sleep in, lousy weather. And I did. I slept until 6:17 a.m. And I've been up since. So now I'm on my 7th cup of coffee today.
Okay, good.
Keep me going. And
all right.
With any luck, I can maybe find some Dramamine and go to sleep tonight at a normal hour. So, but it
sounds like a good day.
I look forward to doing this. I really enjoy being.
Mr. Delgado is back after a night off. First of all, how was your night at the Garden, as they call it?
Madison Square Garden was a very good night. Very much had a good time. Had nice seats, but the Knicks blew it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy, but the boy was happy because, as he put it, we came in and took care of business. I'm like, get out of here. You didn't do anything.
He's a Golden State fan?
Oh, big time.
Is Curry still playing?
Yeah.
Because of Curry? Is that why he's a Golden State fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been a Curry fan since he was...
So he's a Curry fan, not a Golden State fan.
Well, he became a Golden State fan because, of course, when you win 4 championships in like 5 seasons, you kind of suck in.
It's good to be a front runner.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I know something
But
about
he's at
that.
the age he was allowed to be a front runner.
Right.
He grew up into it.
Right.
Are they still good, the Golden State Warriors?
No, they're making a run. They're in 6th now in the West.
Right.
How about the Knicks? I heard they're doing well.
They were in 10th.
That's not good.
They're not in 10th. They're in 3rd.
No. I said the Warriors were in 10th. Then they pick up
So the
Jimmy
Knicks are
Butler.
doing
They've
well.
won 9 in a row, I think,
Right.
or 9 out of 10. Now they're in 6th. The Knicks, it doesn't matter because they're not going to beat the Celtics or the Cavaliers in any series they play, no matter what. So it doesn't matter what position they are.
The NBA is almost like the Oscars to me. That's how little I care.
Yeah.
I have no interest whatsoever.
The Knicks can't beat anybody that's good in the East in this 5 or 7 or 7 game series.
It's amazing.
What are the Knicks missing? They're missing a big man?
No, they got a big man.
Yeah, they got Cat. They're missing talent. No, they have some of that. They just can't put it all together. So, Doug Oddie, you weren't here last night. We were over on this set. We had a rip roaring time. Vin was live in Florida. We were here. Slick hosted the first 40 minutes with Paul and KDJ, and I was listening to them in the car, and they were great. But we'll give you the floor since you weren't here. I don't know if you had a chance to even go back and watch the president's speech, but an hour and 40 minutes, an hour 30 minutes or so. What did you think?
I saw a lot of it, and man, it was like a compilation of hits. You know those old 70s, hits of the 70s or 80s. That's what he was delivering last night. It was awesome to see, and it was even more glorious to watch the Democrats just faceplant time after time, continue to step on the rake by doing stupid stuff that the rest of the country agrees is not the right thing to do. At least 20% of the country agrees with them. 80% says you're an idiot. So that's my takeaway. Aside from some of his, I guess the mic drop moment was about, the open border and how they needed legislation. I mean, Trump said it. He said it best. I thought that was his mic drop moment.
Yeah,
needed a brand new president.
Once the wall was up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good. He had a handful of them.
Yeah. And
he knocks men out of the park.
And then, you see the Democrat Party, man. I don't know. Between Al Green shaking his cane you young whippersnappers, that's all I could see.
Yeah, all the goofy signs they had.
Right. The dumb signs like they were at an auction, a silent auction or something. And Nancy Pelosi taking swigs out of her cane. That was a nice sight.
Has anyone seen any clips of AOC's podcast? Supposedly she had a little podcast and a watch party. A couple clips I saw were just absolute insanity.
No.
I mean, they're almost unbearable.
Well, speaking of absolute insanity, maybe this clip doesn't even qualify for Crazy Town because it's so far past Crazy Town.
Yeah.
It's Rubber Room
This
Town?
is one of the more disturbing clips and one of the more disturbing if you think about how you get to say something like this. Like how demented your brain has to work to actually get to say this on air is really beyond description. This happened right after, probably while we were either wrapping up our coverage, or right after we got off the air. And I think, Paul, you actually were asking me last night about what the mainstream media was going to grab onto the next day last night. Well, none of us could have possibly come up with...
So, I don't know the clip you're doing. By any chance, did anybody call that little boy with cancer a prop?
Cut 3, Aaron. Roll it.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
mind virus. We have a new clip. It's called the mind virus. Wasn't she?
I mean,
was she ever on Fox? Am I crazy? Was she ever like in the concert? Was she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
What, there's an example of prostitute. She'll just say the most outrageous thing to make her bosses happy.
You know, I don't know about that. I actually think she truly feels that. I think she's that demented. That is so... she spends the first half of the clip talking about, I hope he lives a long, healthy life. He has brain cancer. And then says, but if he is going to be a police officer, and then goes into that rant.
Yeah, especially about, referring to, because a lot of officers suffer from, PTSD due to this job. It's a stressful position. I know someone who's lost her loved one to this, and it's still affecting her 20 years later. So for her to drop that suicide nonsense, to drop that as I hope he doesn't commit suicide, to even go down to what is wrong with your brain that is what you think about when you see a 13-year-old child who survived multiple brain cancer operations, who should not be alive today and is living despite all the opposition that said he would never make it this far, get celebrated, and you think, you know what, this is it's a great idea. Let's hope he never commits suicide because of being a police officer. It's mind-boggling.
So demented.
It's mind-boggling. And you know what? What's scary about this is that there is a segment, and these are probably the people that Vin fights with, because I fight with them as well, that actually really think the way Nicole Wallace does. So there is a segment of the demented population out there that is so twisted, because they're so married to their ideological beliefs that they cannot, for the life of them, see any good that comes out of somebody who they do not agree with and they do not like. They believe that half the country is evil, and they hope for death. That is the Nicole Wallace group of this country. It's a small group, but man, look at the spokesperson they have on display on MSNBC. I'm surprised she's still employed.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that is so crazy. That goes beyond like Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, that is just a level of, like I said, brain demented thought that's hard to describe. I mean, to say all the first part, which is fine, and then tie it.
Right.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
That's how you know she's nuts, is that she could have just left it right there.
Yeah.
The first 15, 20 seconds, and people have been like, yeah, I agree, that's great. Great sentiment, and she'd have been applauded. But no. She's like, let me step on this rake 5 times in a row and see if I can get everybody's attention. Well, you got everybody's attention.
Just couldn't give him credit for having a nice human moment there. They just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't leave it at the human... What did you say last night, the word? The humanity? I guess you said the humanity of it. Just couldn't leave it at the humanity of it in this poor child, who, by the way, was in the Oval Office today.
Yes.
Which was great.
By the way, I want to, while we're talking about this subject, when I'm having the 95-year-old mom with the what was his name? The soldier who was stuck in Soviet. Anyway, that was a moment. I rewatched that clip today, and it was emotional last night. When
he met her at Butler, the mother?
No.
who are you talking about?
The 95-year-old mom got her son back. I cannot remember his name. Forgive me, audience. He introduced him last night. Who was the guy who?
Yeah, that was the mother he met at Butler. He met her right before he went out and took the stage. He said, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, that was an emotional moment. That to me, and there was absolutely no decency there as well. That's as bipartisan an issue as there is. How that becomes weaponized to a degree is just another one. I was dumbfounded by that, because you watched that.
Yeah.
That was gut-wrenching to me.
I mean, we said it last night. I mean, think about the things that they said that they were. I don't remember a State of the Union. I know we're not calling it a State of the Union, whatever you want to say it was a State of the Union to me. But I don't remember ever an event like that where literally the other party didn't stand one time.
No. Once.
They didn't stand for the kid with brain cancer. They didn't stand for the guy, that guy who came home. They didn't stand for the girl who...
Officer Diller.
Officer Diller's
From our
family. They
neighborhood.
didn't stand for him. They didn't stand for the girl who was there who got smacked with the volleyball from the guy thinking he was a girl playing volleyball whose career ended, who has a traumatic brain injury. They didn't stand for that. Obviously, they didn't stand. I mean, which those, if you're not going to stand for those, I guess you're not going to stand for lower taxes and things like that. But they didn't stand for any of it. And then there's Al Green. There's your representative. It's like I keep saying, they keep putting Jasmine Crockett out there. Keep doing it. Keep sending her out. Keep sending. This is the rebranding of the Democratic Party. We've gone from Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. The only thing would have been worse for them is if we could have had a camera shot in the men's bathroom of Tim Walz selling tampons or something. That would have been about the only thing that could have made the night worse for them, if you ask me.
What was the Geico caveman's name again? Al Green?
Al Green, yeah. All right, live from Studio 6B. What a jackass. Live from Studio 6B, just getting started. We're back right after this.
Absurd amount of times.
Yes. He tries every week.
I just don't.
All right, let's get to the chat. What's going on, chat? Ticked off Patriot. What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Chat.
Let's get to that chat.
Apparently, there was a single Democrat that stood for DJ last night.
Oh, there was one?
There was?
Yeah,
That
I
was
did see one, right.
Laura Gillen from New York.
Oh, from New York. Wow.
I did
She was
see
the only
one
one.
stand. That was very impressed with us. Communist.
What's going on, everybody? Racing Banshee,
She's on the way
hello.
to the bathroom. Don't let her.
Hello, Green Wave Man. Hello, Janice on Facebook. Hello. What's up, Damon? What's up, Jeremy? What's up, Farmer Brooke?
Howdy, Rumblers. We're
Dave
in the
Syverson, what's
chat.
going on? Slick's off tonight. He's going to see his Prince, whatever the hell they're called, Purple Revolution. Is that what they're
Something
called?
like that.
Probably on stage at this point. Jinx, what's going on X?
We got Sue. We got Becky.
Joanne, Ohio,
Malcolm
hello.
Z.
Nancy Burns, hello.
Gamer Mom 07
Christine Raising Kane.
in the Rumble chat. Small Town Barbie.
Les
We got
Durham, what's going on
Les
YouTube?
Bull Durham.
4445.
Delgado, is that a Vols shirt?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I might be getting a Tampa shirt soon.
Who wants to go to Tampa?
The boy. He wants to transfer.
Where is he now?
Stony Brook.
Where was he before that?
What do you mean?
Did he start at Stony?
High school. he was in high school first.
Oh, I thought he wanted to
Mr.
go.
V, I am not Greek.
No.
And came back.
I'm
No,
Italian.
that was Caleb.
I mean, I'm American.
And where'd
American.
she start?
She started at Tennessee.
And now where's she?
She's at Stony Brook.
And where's she going?
By the
she's
way, my
staying in
buddy's
Stony
kids go to
He wants to go
Tampa.
to Tampa.
He went to Stony Brook, and now he wants to go to Tampa.
Tampa,
Gotcha.
send them there. It's incredible. You got the cash.
I don't know what cash you're talking about.
All your extra money. Mikey AZ, thank you for the encouragement. John Lavoy with a $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Fran and Aaron.
Why am I not seeing that? Oh, there it is. Shout out to Fran and Aaron. John
By the way,
Lavoie.
there are a
Shout
couple.
out to Fran and Aaron.
There was some nice super chats last night. It was impossible to read them during Trump. So I want to thank you people for being so generous and so kind. Paul is a meatball slinger.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Glad you're in. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan's doing some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Slickster's off tonight. No sports tonight with Slick Rick. He is off watching, I think it's called the Prince Purple or something Revolution. It's
Something
a
like that.
Prince cover band who performs, I think they're performing, or maybe it's a movie made about them. He went to see the premiere. I don't know what he did.
Yeah,
He's
it
going
was
to do something.
It was something
Was it in
like
a
that.
simulcast thing?
Something, yeah. I'm sure he'll end up on stage somehow, as he always does. So Slick's off tonight. He'll be back tomorrow. Delgado will be off on Friday. Your Knicks lost last night, but your son was happy because he was a fan of the Warriors. So that's good.
He's a Warrior fan, and you know what was amazing? I think the Garden was half and half last night.
Okay.
The Warriors, they travel well.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who was probably not having a great day, although I guess we'll see. This one seems different to me. That's going to be Hamas, because the president today put out what I think can only be considered a real red line. And I don't suspect the president's in the business of putting out red lines that he's not going to follow through on, kind of like Obama did in Syria with the red line. The president put this out today. This was at, I don't know what time this was, but he said, Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it's over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say.
Oh boy.
I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leadership, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also, to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart, all capital, smart decision. Release the hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And so now this is, I don't know if this would be considered the second or third kind of hell to pay later statement we've heard from the president. We heard one before he was inaugurated.
Yep.
We heard one, I think, since he's inaugurated once.
I think when Bibi was in town, yep.
Yeah, and now this one, which seems, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. It almost seems more like a red line. Like I don't know how you.
He just gave him gave Israel $4 billion.
I don't know how you get ignored here and then come back with another one of these a little strongerly worded. I don't think you can do that.
No,
I think this is the last
one. No more. You can't get stronger than that at this point. Next thing is going to be on top of the $4 million more money, and now the USAID is not going to be funding Hamas. There's going to be no more backdoor money going into them, give them a chance to fight. I mean, this should be a bloodbath, and how much longer can it last without all the fake money, like the scam money coming in the back door to fund terrorists?
Mark Penn, who used to be a close advisor to the Clintons, said, if only Joe Biden had the spine to have posted years ago what Trump posted today, meaning that what I just read you, perhaps many hostage lives could have been saved. This is the ultimatum the terrorists should always be given when they take hostages and keep even dead bodies as hostages. That according to Mark Penn today. So the president coming out very strong tonight on how he feels about this. And I just keep going all the way back to when this original deal was cut before the president, was it before he got into office?
Yeah.
And I can remember saying at the time, boy, this does not seem like a Trump deal. Seems like a crap Biden deal that his team, I guess, had to swallow because they weren't fully in charge of the negotiations. But the deals of the terms of that original negotiation were a joke. And we much called it that at the time. The way the hostages were released, the fact that they could release dead bodies and still be in occurrence with the agreement seemed crazy. American hostages left behind seemed crazy. It all seemed kind of crazy at the time. And I think when you look at where we are now, I think we're pretty much proven correctly that it was a crap deal. It probably wasn't the deal they had all wanted or would have agreed to. But I guess felt like at the time it did get them lives alive, which is a lot of pressure and hard to say no to.
Right.
Even if the rest of it kind of was not great. So I don't know. What do you think, Delgado?
Yeah. Well, according to this, the Daily Wire says Trump made these remarks after he met that group of hostages in the Oval Office today.
Well, can you imagine what he heard?
Exactly. And they painted quite the picture for him. And maybe that was, maybe that's what really spurred him on to say, you know what, I've had it. This crap deal, let's just, I'm at my wit's end. Let's just do this and throw it out there. And if they don't comply, then because remember, he has been deferring to Israel, saying, here's where I stand, but I'm going to let Israel, kind of make the call here. So who knows at what point they're at this point. Here's a little something interesting, and I know we talked about this when he made the comments, but remember how Donald Trump said, "Hey, we're going to take over Gaza, and we're gonna do it up. It'll be the Riviera of the Middle East." Well, guess what? I guess some of this has applied pressure to people in the region as Egypt's alternative to Trump's Gaza Riviera aims to sideline Hamas. This is coming out from Yahoo News, a plan for Gaza drawn up by Egypt as a counter to the U.S. President Donald Trump's admission to the Middle East Riviera would sideline Hamas and replace it with interim bodies controlled by Arab, Muslim, and Western states, according to a draft seen by Reuters. This is exactly what Trump wanted. Right? Tell them that I'm going to come in here and do it unless you guys do it. And guess what? Now they're all like, well, maybe we can do something here. The Egyptian vision for Gaza, which is due to be presented to the Arab League summit on Tuesday, does not specifically specify whether the proposal would be implemented before or after any permanent peace deal to end the war triggered October 7th, 2023. Trump's plan, which envisioned clearing Gaza of the Palestinian inhabitants, appeared to back away from the long-standing U.S. Middle East policy focused on a two-state solution and sparked anger among Palestinian and Arab nations. Who will run Gaza after the conflicts remains to be the great unanswered question in negotiations over the future of the enclave, and Hamas has so far rejected the idea of any proposal being imposed on Palestinians by other states. So there you have it. The ball is starting to move, and hopefully this means that the pressure that people see of Donald Trump and the United States coming in, we're gonna run it, and we're gonna dictate the terms. Now they're saying, hey, maybe we should do something about this so we can dictate the terms, because that seems to be where what Trump really wanted in the first place, right?
Yes, and John Fetterman out tonight as well, reacting to the president. He says, "Free all hostages or start killing Hamas members again." I fully agree with POTUS. And there's others who have put out statements here in complete support with the president. Lindsey Graham, "You have my complete and total support in this. This is why I believe President Trump's the right man at the right time to deal with the bad guys and bring peace to the world. This ultimatum should have been delivered to Hamas early on by the Biden administration. Mr. President, you are right to say it, and it's imperative that you do it if they refuse," which I think is where we're at. All right, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this. Joanne on Facebook says, "Boy, really love the new background. Thank you. We've been over here before. Usually we're here over after we have some kind of special, because setting up the studio back to the other side takes a little bit. We'll probably be back over there tomorrow night, but we're here tonight." Why is it called 8H now? It's not. That was a joke.
That's a good one.
That was a joke, man, yesterday because of Steve Bannon in the morning.
Yep, Steve Bannon, I'm his favorite. He loves Saul Mullins. Loves Saul Mullins.
Becky Snyder, Papa Nolan isn't paying attention to the chat on YouTube, okay?
No, I am. I was shouting. Becky, I shouted you out earlier.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Becky?
Yeah, Becky.
You're like my favorite.
Damon, Dakota says hi. Hello, Dakota.
Oh, Becky, you're breaking my heart, Becky Snyder. I see it now. No, I shouted you out, kid.
I have a message from one of the viewers on the RAD website,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie,
M&J
Becky.
Harlow. My husband and I love watching you guys. You are a wind down after a busy day, tuning in from Florida with our popcorn and cocktails.
Oh,
cocktails.
popcorn and cocktails sound good.
How about a stogie?
That sounds good, too.
Can we stoke
Actually, a
up
cup
here?
of coffee would sound good right now, but I'm stuck in this chair. What?
Are you stuck there? I'll hook you up next break.
It's all right.
You like your coffee with a little bit that creamer and bourbon, right?
I like my bourbon with a touch of coffee and creamer. That's a better way to say it. Live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, March 5th. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Paul Nolan's here. He's going to do some news. Rick Delgado's got some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. There's a lot of major things going on, so I think sometimes we go through these days and we kind of take our mind off the fact that we still have a lot of Republicans still have a lot to get done. Reconciliation. What are we doing about the debt ceiling? What are we doing about spending? And not to be the pessimist that you all know I am.
No,
trying to
really?
be positive here. I really am. But I noticed these things. I noticed, just like I noticed, there's no Epstein update. I noticed that I'll tell you the thing I noticed today. There seems to be no conversation in all of the negotiations so far are about reconciliation, about what we're going to try to actually get done about closing the Department of Education. So is that something else that's now off the table, or where's the negotiation on that as well, along with obviously many other things? And my point being, not necessarily to harp on education and whether they're closing it down, right this second. My point being the overall idea of time is running out. Well, what do you mean, Damon? We just got started. No. Well, yes, we did, but that's not the way it works. Time is running out. And if we're going to codify these things into law so they cannot be undone as easily as they were done by executive order, they can be undone by executive order. And we have a midterms that I know it feels like we just went through the election, and we did. But 44 days all of a sudden becomes 100 days, becomes halfway through 2025, and now we're thinking about midterms. Sean Spicer has a piece in the Washington Times today exactly to this point. It's not about the Department of Education, but about the border. Time is running out for Congress to cement Trump's border security gains. Less than 2 years before the next congressional season begins. Trump talked about this last night, another win, the numbers. He talked about a lot of what he's done by executive order in 43 days, more than most administrations get done in 4 years, 8 years. He talked about all of that. If the Republicans don't codify it, though, what does it really mean? It's like the spending. If we're going to raise it, I saw somebody, I think it was John Solomon today, had a piece out and said, Republicans are coming up with a 2-part plan. And I said, yeah, part 1, raise, part 2, spend. That's it. Because as I told you yesterday, right now, the Republicans have the federal spending levels at $5.5 trillion for 25 and $5.6 trillion for 26. If you remember when we went through the last CR, they told us that CR was so we could get onto Trump time, remember?
Right, yes.
Got to get this CR because we don't want to do this before he takes office. This gets us into Trump time. He's in office, and then it's all, then we're serious about it. And here they are talking about another clean CR. They're talking about another clean CR. Because now we need more time to kick it down the road.
Oh, boy.
I hear, and again, I don't spend every living moment, on these things. Have many people heard discussions about 12 separate spending bills being bantered around like they're supposed to do? Nope. I know Trump last night talked about balancing the budget. It's a good clap line. Everybody claps. Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, it's somewhat laughable given what we've seen from both parties and the Republicans as well. Meaning they've had just as much hand in the spending as, maybe not as much, but they haven't been great on it, as we know. Where are the 12 separate spending bills? As Thomas Massey said today, by the way, because of the last CR, one of the agreements that they actually got was that if the CRs continue through April 1st, there was supposed to be an automatic, I think, 1% cut across the board in all spending. I saw Thomas Massey tweet something today that House Speaker Johnson is trying to get around that and not follow that law. Or whatever you call it, whether it's law, I guess it's law.
They're junkies, dude. They're junkies. They can't stop.
So to Sean Spicer's opinion piece here, and he happens to just focus on the border, but you could apply this to everything. He says Trump's border crossings and illegal migrant gotaways have fallen precipitously since Trump's inauguration, down more than 90%. From the same month in 2024. Tom Homan reported last week in one stretch, the U.S. Border Control encountered just 229 migrants in a 24-hour stretch across the entire southwestern border, down from a high of sometimes 11,000 a day. They encountered 229. 11,000 a day it was under President Biden at some points. Call it the Trump effect, reads a recent White House press release celebrating the record decline. Although the crackdown at the border is a big win for Trump and the voters who elected him with a mandate to stop the flow of illegal migrants, real change requires more than executive actions. For the Trump effect to become a lasting policy, Congress must act now to capitalize on Republican momentum and codify stronger immigration enforcement measures into law. And you could take those two sentences and just take out law enforcement and border and pop in any other subject matter that he's dealt with by executive orders, and it stays the same. Now is the time to codify these things into law. All we hear about is the tax cuts. Not that they're not important. But in the end, the tax cuts, as we know, the Democrats give them what? The ability to go out and say, you're blowing a hole in the deficit like you guys have always done, to give your rich friends a tax break. Meanwhile, most of us can't buy eggs. You haven't lowered prices. You're spending worse than we are. You're spending worse than you did the first time. So the Republicans have got to get on the ball here. Are we going to do 12 separate spending bills? Or are we doing clean CRs and we're blowing out, $1 trillion every 87 days still? Delgado?
I have no answers. I'm not. I wish I could say,
no, but
yes, Damon, we're
what
doing
are your
12.
thoughts? I know we think it was only 43 days in, but
no, you'd like to see everything that they promised, right? promises made, promises kept. Well, we're up to the
House, Senate, White House,
I think
unified government now.
I think it really has to do with the House at this point, right? They have to put these things together. If Johnson's not willing to put them together, clear them out. Get Massey in there because he will do it. And then,
no chance.
Then take it to the people and say, look, here is what we're proposing. They don't want to vote for it because they want to rip you off. I think that sells to the American people. Well, they'll pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm going to vote for the next guy if you don't pass this. I think it's got to be the maximum pressure of the S-stirs. I don't know the best way to put it. Massey's in there to stir it up, right?
Yeah.
Rand Paul is in there to stir it up. These are not guys that want to go along to get along and just keep spending till we run out of everything.
I think they're the only two real principal guys there, in my opinion. I think they're the only two real conservatives.
I think there are more. They just don't make themselves heard. Right.
Yeah.
By the way, Paul, Massey again today. Another thing that, you think when you hold the House, the Senate, and the White House, why does he have to introduce this bill 4 times? For the 4th time, he's now reintroduced the End the Fed Act, the Federal Reserve Abolition Act of H.R. 1846. Americans would be better off if the Federal Reserve did not exist. The Fed devalues the currency by monetizing the debt, which causes inflation. He's reintroduced it again. Like, why is that something that the Republicans should not be able to get done?
It'll never happen. It's all intertwined. It goes back into the tentacles of history. It goes back to the central banks when they took over this country. And it goes back to all the intelligence agencies. It goes back. It's all intertwined with all the wars. And guys like Massey is just screaming in a forest, hoping someone will hear him. It's the same thing we saw with Ron Paul and the Fed. It never happened. And they'll label Massey next. Thank God Massey is a Boy Scout. They can never find any dirt on him. But what have they've called him an anti-Semite in the past. They'll always put a label on somebody. Anybody who speaks out against the Fed or the entire war machine, they find a way to label them.
It's like, as he calls it, this cognitive dissonance in the Republican Party, where they applaud Doge and the things they're doing and trying to cut, and yet are going to fund in the next CR.
Yeah, 4% out of
it's
those.
like you can't make it up.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we'll still keep funding the war machine. I mean, Israel has free health care for every citizen, right? Every kid goes to college for free. They don't need our $4 billion. I mean, we don't have to give them money too. I'm not sure they could handle their own war. I mean, we just keep giving money away. I mean, it's a never-ending circle of spending. It never ends.
He said today, I'm going to vote against a clean CR that's going to fund everything in 2025 at 2024 levels. Because, number one, Speaker Johnson isn't following the provision in law that would have cut everything by 1% if the CR extended past April, which is what they agreed at the end of last year. We should not be funding the waste, fraud, and abuse that Doge has now found. We're supposed to have 12 separate spending bills. We were told that the CR in December that got us to March would allow us to prioritize Trump's agenda this March using the checkbook. And none of that is happening as of right now. So he stands against a clean CR. But it's just like we're in the same boat with these people every single time this comes up. It never gets any better.
Yeah, and they go on, it's the definition of insanity. They just keep doing the same thing, hoping for a different outcome, and they know they're never going to get it. But this is the death loop, right? Because they're just spiraling. Oh, we finally got power. Oh, let's do the things we're supposed to. No. We want to keep power. We want to keep everybody happy. Well, to keep everybody happy, they got to keep spending. So they'll never actually cut spending because then they don't want to be unhappy by being replaced because, well, they made the hard choice. It's always harder to make the right decision. It's easier to make the wrong decision as far as Congress is concerned. And the wrong decision is, well, we could just keep printing money. We'll just borrow again. We just need it this time. We'll just need it this time. Right. That the crack addict always says, just one more line. That's all it is.
Yeah, especially now they think they have an excuse because Doge is saving money here and there. They're like, great, look at all this money to spend.
Now we can spend it over here instead, right?
Yeah.
But we're not going to actually not spend it, which is what they should do.
The other thing that's interesting, I saw Scott Rasmussen put this out, that only 24% of the American public mistakenly believe that the House budget resolution cuts spending. So 75% of people understand right now what's going on. They did a survey. 24% mistakenly believe the House budget resolution cuts spending in 2026. The reality is that the Republicans right now have 2025 federal spending at $5.5 trillion. 2026 House budget is $5.6 trillion. The government isn't cutting; it is still growing. Don't fall for the spin. That by Scott Rasmussen yesterday morning in their new poll out.
That's a good read. All of this goes away if you end the Fed. The amount of money the Fed siphons off the American taxpayer, what they destroy everybody through inflation. It's the most incredible scam, incredible Ponzi scheme. It's truly astounding that we can't just issue our own United States. Can
I hear this on my laptop, Aaron? What?
It's just frustrating that the Fed is still
tariffs are going to drive America better. Remember,
what is this?
We pay taxes into the Internal Revenue Service. Wouldn't it be amazing to stop paying taxes to the Internal Revenue Service and have the External Revenue Service of Make America Great Again replace our taxes? That's the goal of Donald Trump, and I think he's going to hit there. He's going to do.
That's the goal of Donald Trump. Interesting statement, not to be taken lightly.
Yeah, but if he can do an external revenue system, the IRS is fully connected to the central banks. Central banks.
Well, he's saying that would be get rid of the IRS.
Yeah, I'm saying that. If the IRS goes, then you could definitely. I mean, they're hand in hand. They're like peas and carrots, and they're like Forrest and Jenny. The whole audience, our chat knows what the Fed is. It's nice to see. I remember I used to wear my End the Fed sweatshirt, and people were like, you can't end the federal government. No, man. You got to get with the good doctor. You need the Ron Paul revolution.
All right, Doug, do you want to do some news?
Sure.
It's just
see the shot? I missed it last night. Did you see the shot of Amy Coney Barrett last night? Trump coming in?
I did, yes.
I mean, obviously those things are easy to take out of context, but boy, it is a look of interesting look the way she looked at. I don't know what
she's been a disappointment.
She's a disaster no matter how she looks. We're only 2 justices away. We're always 2 away.
Hit that like button, kids. 317.
6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Paul Nolan's going to have some news as well. Well, actually, Delgado did one story, but he's going to do the news, and he's going to do it right now. News is brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition, available over at livefromstudio6b.com. Make sure you check out the website. New stuff going up almost daily. The new Doge stuff is up. Sweatshirts, T-shirts, new merch. So check out livefromstudio6b.com. There's actually a new What Even Is That shirt.
Is there?
Yeah, bro.
Can I get one?
Updated the logo. Yeah, sure. You just got to give me your size. I'll get you one.
Well, you know me. I take a medium.
Extra small you take? Oh.
Yeah, it's medium.
Okay.
Small, medium.
Let's do the news. Delgado's got it. What's going on?
All right. Well, switching gears a little bit, getting out of Washington, heading out across the country, heading down to Texas, as a matter of fact, as a sad story comes to us, Damon, one of our favorites.
Oh, I saw this. I felt terrible. Yeah.
During COVID-19, our favorite mayor from Houston, Sylvester Turner, who left the post of being the mayor of Houston that he was for 8 years and had just won the U.S. Congress seat in his district, has now passed away.
Yeah.
He has died from enduring health complications. He was 70. You might remember him famously when he said this during the coronavirus pandemic. This is Democrat, former Houston mayor, Sylvester Turner, cut number 2. Here he is.
And let me just make my plea. Until the coronavirus is resolved, criminals take a break.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Okay? Stay home.
Yeah.
And don't commit any crimes.
Right. That's it.
And that way, they'll stay safe and out of jail. And police officers will stay safe and can go home to their families.
Yeah.
Okay? So everybody chill. Crooks, criminals, you chill.
Right.
Wait till the coronavirus is over.
Right.
Okay?
This
and
is how you tackle law enforcement.
Until the coronavirus
Trump
is
needs to say that to Hamas.
Yes. Tom Homan could take this to the border.
Right.
Hey! Chill.
Put on a suit and chill. Maybe combine a little Brian Glenn and Sylvester Turner there. But yeah, Sylvester Turner, of course.
I was sorry to hear that he passed. He's a young guy.
He was only 70. He died Wednesday, earlier today, after attending President Donald Trump's address last night to a joint session of Congress. His family said in a statement, his death comes just months after he won Texas's 18th congressional district race. He stood as a pillar in the history of the state's largest municipality, serving 8 years as the mayor and 27 years in the Texas House of Representatives. According to this, current Houston Mayor John Whitmire said, "We lost an outstanding public official. Experience matters, folks. No one will be able to step into Sylvester's shoes and carry on his duties because there was only one Sylvester Turner." Native of Houston, Turner was born in 1954 and grew up in the local community. He graduated valedictorian at Klein High School in 73. He earned his poli-sci degree from the University of Houston in 77 and has been was also an attorney specializing in corporate and commercial law. So our condolences to former Houston mayor and U.S. congressman and his family, Sylvester Turner. He was he seemed like a nice guy, you know,
without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Seemed like a sweet guy.
So unfortunately, and like Damon said, 70 is the new 50. 70's young. So it's sad to hear. In other news here, Damon, in the I'm not trying to kill myself news, Attorney General Pam Bondi said a truckload of evidence, has been delivered to FBI headquarters related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. This coming from her office, that she received that truckload of evidence just the other day. Bondi had given the FBI New York field office until February 28th deadline to turn over information about the late pedophile's case. She previously accused the office of withholding thousands of pages of documents related to Epstein ahead of the Justice Department's long-awaited release. So we got them all, hopefully all of them, she said, by Friday at 8 a.m. I have the FBI going through them, Bondi said, adding that FBI Director Kash Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the documents had been withheld to begin with. The Attorney General insisted that she was shocked at the limited scope of the documents the DOJ had previously obtained by the FBI, and they're looking at the documents. They're looking at all the files. These weren't all the files, of course, when she said they were. She explained that the source notified the DOJ that all the evidence sitting in the Southern District of New York spurred her order to the new deadline for turning over the documents. She did not specify whether her source meant that the files were being stored by the prosecutors or at the FBI's New York field office, which are both housed at the same 26 Federal Plaza building in Lower Manhattan. But she did announce the truckload has arrived. It is now in possession of the FBI. So there you have it. She promises they're going to go through it as fast as they can, but very cautiously to make sure they protect the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims, she said, and pressed about other redactions that could be made. She said grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, would also be blacked out. So there you have it. A little update from Pam Bondi, and of course the Epstein files, and lastly this one. I don't know if you saw this. Well, you probably did, because we were talking about Amy Coney Barrett in the Barrett in the break. This, a little setback for the Trump administration as a divided Supreme Court rejects Trump's bid to freeze nearly $2 billion in foreign aid. According to this, the divided Supreme Court earlier today rejected the Trump administration's bid to freeze that aid, but was not clear how quickly money might start flowing by a 5-4 vote. There it is. I thought we were up 6-3. No, we're down 5-4. The court rejected an emergency appeal from the Republican administration, while also telling U.S. District Court Amir Ali to clarify his earlier order that required the quick release of the nearly $2 billion in aid for work that had previously been done. It's the second time the new administration has sought and failed to persuade the conservative-led court, with 3 appointees by Donald Trump, to rein in a federal judge who put the brakes on executive action taken by the president. Although the outcome is a short-term loss, the nonprofit groups and businesses that sued are still waiting for money they say they are owed. Organizations in the U.S. and around the world have cut services and laid off thousands of workers as a result. And it's just another stunning result coming out as, Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, the 2 conservatives, joined the 3 liberal justices to form the majority.
What a shock.
Yeah. Justices Thomas, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Alito, of course, dissented. And just amazing that the funding that should be under the control of the president, the executive branch, is now being held up by some federal judge out of D.C.
And they dissented with a pretty fiery statement just about that we're going to get. So I think they said something to the effect of, I don't have it in front of me, but what we've been saying. So you're basically saying, so one judge is going to decide for 330 million people that the executive all of a sudden doesn't have this power? Now, Jonathan Turley. So before I get to Jonathan Turley, let me just say, Amy Coney Barrett is a real problem for us. And many people have sent me the video of Trump last night greeting her and greeting all the Supreme Court justices, and the look that she flashed him after he was done saying whatever he said to her, the pleasantries or whatever it was. She gave him a look that did not look like a look of someone who was happy to see another person. I don't know how else to say it. It was not a great look. Now, I also don't want to read into it, because who knows? Camera angles can be funny sometimes. I have no idea what he said or what was on her mind. But if you just take it what you see, it doesn't look great. She looks like a bitter old nasty woman, quite frankly, from the clip. But forget what she looks like. We can go by what she's actually done, and her rulings have been an abomination. They have certainly not been one of an originalist, of a textualist that she claimed that she was when she's on the court. And here again, she seems to be more worried about how people view her, along with the Chief Justice, who is like a D.C. hobnobbing around to all the parties. They seem more worried about what's going to happen when they walk into these parties than they are about actually doing what they're supposed to. But Jonathan Turley has a little bit of a different take on this today and says maybe not all that meets the eye. I'll tell you why when we get back right after this, live from Studio 6B. Can't even see the clock. Was that 3 or 4?
It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, that was 4?
Yeah. This first hour is done. Fast.
Reminder, you have a guest at 9:30.
Oh. All right. Paul, you want to do news now?
Sure.
How many stories do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
But he already covered the Epstein, but I had a different version of it. I had Zero Hedges version of it. Honey, what if I told you there was no Epstein list, but so we'll skip that. I have there's so much stuff. There's so much news.
So much.
But I don't know. It's all the same old crap. It's just so frustrating. I'm starting to feel like that the sorcerers had us believing that it was going to be different this time. I went back through my old notes on the Epstein stuff, and I was looking. I had some charts that showed all the connections from Maxwell's father and Jimmy's. And they're all intertwined with the war machine. They're all intertwined with bankers. They're all completely covered. It even goes back to the Italian and Jewish mafia in New York with Miles Lansky and the Colombo family. It's just crazy how many arms deals were made and how much weaponry was smuggled through spying. And it's all so crazy how intertwined it is. If I show that on here, Real America's Voice will fire you.
All right, 9 o'clock, hour 2, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in. Paul Nolan's going to do some news here coming up. Rick Delgado's doing the news as well. Slickster's off tonight. No sports. He's off at the...
Something to do with Prince.
Something with Prince. Purple Prince Revolution or something or other, or playing or moving or something.
Yeah.
And he's going check it out. So he's off tonight. He'll be back tomorrow. Delgado's here tonight. He'll be off on Friday. Vin's off. Well, not off. He joined us from Florida. Actually worked out well. Vin can join us from Florida. But he'll be back next week. So glad you're in. If you're following us on social media, hit the like, subscribe, wherever you're watching, at LFS6B. And make sure, of course, you follow the channel on Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube, Getter, wherever you're watching. Of course, Truth at LFS6B there as well. Instagram at LFS6B Show. So make sure you follow us on social media. And make sure you head over to livefromstudio6b.com. Most importantly, Head over to livefromstudio6b.com. Join our loyalty rewards club. A lot of people are starting to sign up for that. I keep giving points here every once in a while. I go in there and throw you some more points that you can use, of course, towards merch if you build up enough.
Are those like miles?
Yeah, it's like miles.
Can I convert those to miles?
You can convert those to the new Doge stuff or the new What Even Is That shirts or the new... there's all kinds of great stuff in there. So join the loyalty 6B Front Row Club over at livefromstudio6b.com. All right, before we get to Paul Nolan and his news, what I was talking about before we went to break, 5-4 decision. Jonathan Turley says it's an interesting 5-4 split. Supreme Court has denied the Trump administration's application for a stay of the district court's temporary restraining order against the administration's effort to freeze $2 billion in funds from the U.S. Agency for International Development. The administration is down by one vote, but hardly out in the fight with the lower courts. The unsigned order in Department of State versus AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition refuses to stay the temporary restraining order of U.S. District Judge Amir Ali to force the payment of the money frozen by the administration. However, there is more than meets the eye in this short unsigned opinion, he says. While unsigned, it is clear that Chief Justice John Roberts and Associate Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the three liberal justices. The reason is the dissent of Associate Justice Samuel Alito, who was joined by Justices Thomas Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. The dissent has sharp elbows for both Judge Ali and the five justices in the majority. And this is what I was referring to before. The dissent says, does a single district court judge who likely lacks jurisdiction have the unchecked power to compel the government of the United States to pay out and probably lose forever $2 billion taxpayer dollars? The answer to that question should be an emphatic no. But a majority of this court apparently thinks otherwise. I am stunned. Alito acknowledged the lower court's frustration with the government as well as the serious concerns about non-payment for completed work. However, he noted that this quite simply too extreme a response. A federal court has many tools to address a party's supposed nonfeasance. Self-aggrandizement of its jurisdiction is not one of them. The key here is that this was a controversial move to review a TRO, which is generally not reviewable. What is clear is that there are 4 justices who were still prepared to do so and would obviously be likely to grant review in the next round. That next round would come after the hearing on the preliminary injunction, which is scheduled for March 6th. It can then be appealed to these awaiting justices. Only 4 are needed to grant review, so you do the math. So basically what he's saying is this is going to be a longer road to get to, it sounds to me like he's saying this is just going to be a longer, more minutia road to get to Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh saying, and then take review of this on the appeal after March 6th.
Yeah, and I also heard another attorney or judge, I forget who it was, breakdown that says, don't read too much into this. It could be that they're kicking it down because they didn't specify. So they kicked it back to him and said, now you have to specify, right? I think that was the word they used, specify the order, which would then give the Trump administration now a specific thing to really go in there and battle with, and that's how they can get where they want to go.
Right.
So
one last quick thing, then I'll go to Mr. Nolan here for news. Last night, Trump's speech, CBS YouGov poll, which certainly is not going to be leaning anywhere into wanting to give Trump good numbers. Views of Trump's speech among speech watchers, 76% was the approval. 23% disapprove. Most of those people were in the chamber. 76% of people approved of that speech, and how could you not? Yeah. It was an absolute tour de force.
When was the last time we had 76% of anything?
Yeah.
Right? Like coming out of Washington, the only thing we've gotten 76% of
is humidity.
Is negative. Is like 76% of people basically don't trust the federal government. But now we've got an actual positive number, which is crazy because, I thought this was it was President Trump, right? Isn't he the one that he's a danger to democracy? We're in a constitutional crisis, but it seems like 76% of the country is on board with it.
Well, they certainly liked what they heard last night, and how could you not? So,
yeah, exactly.
Which leads to my first story, which is President Trump's first address to Congress and his term drew his audience larger than 3 times those of his predecessor, Joe Biden. According to the Nielsen's, he had 36.6 million people who watched the 100-minute speech across 15 networks. That's about 14% more viewers than Biden's final State of the Union, which, let's be honest, most of us watched to see if he could actually get through it. It was like watching.
See if he'd stay on his feet. Yeah,
exactly. It was like watching a wounded animal. You wanted to help it, but you couldn't. It was watching a train wreck. So, I mean, everyone knew it wouldn't say anything, but I thought that was impressive because, what did the Oscars get? 15 million or 16 million?
Did they even get that much?
Yeah, which is half of last year's previous all-time low, which speaks volumes about the culture and the cultural shift in America today. So good on Trump. He hit it out of the park. And in other news, the influencer Andrew Tate was arrested in Florida. State Attorney General has launched a criminal investigation into the British-American influencer and his brother Tristan, both of whom arrived in Florida. I was going to make a joke earlier. You guys say the Golden State Warriors, they travel well. Mm-hmm. Well, the Tate brothers do not travel well. Wherever they go,
obviously
they get locked up.
I know.
They are clearly a thorn in somebody's side. So the announcement led Tate to brag to investigators that they won't be able to convict him because he deletes all his data off his electronics. He said, and he said it loud, he said, come get me, arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, he said angrily during an interview with Candace Owens. Tell everybody I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not ready? And he continued, effing come get me. Raid my house. Take my stuff. You think I sleep with a phone full of evidence? You don't think I wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? So Tate, who's 38, told Owens that the Florida authorities seized his electronics and they investigated him for unspecified wrongdoing, that he said he's innocent of all crimes. Tate also claimed that DeSantis and the Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, are both targeting him because they think he won't endorse DeSantis' wife, Casey. So talk about a guy who's been prosecuted quite a bit. I'd like to see what's going on here. The story behind it is that one of the women who claimed to be objectified and forced into posing naked is from Florida. So we'll see how this unfolds, but we know that the Romanian government really just wanted to shut him up the last time. God knows what he knows, and I will not convict anybody in the court of public opinion. We'll like to see how that one unfolds, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. And then I guess lastly, it's sanctuary city mayors defend policies. They say cooperate with criminals and warrants. The House Oversight and Judiciary Committee on Wednesday held hearings with mayors of 4 major cities about the sanctuary city policies and pinned the immigration crisis on federal government during the Biden administration. In January, James Conner announced an investigation into such policies across the country and said they were reckless and endangering the public. He said that all the pro-illegal alien mayors of Boston, Chicago, Denver, New York have implemented reckless illegal policies and shield criminals, aliens from federal immigration enforcement and endanger public safety. Criminal aliens, predators should not be free to roam our community. State and local governments that refuse to comply with federal immigration enforcement efforts should not receive a penny of federal funding. And, it was Adams, of course. And Mike Johnson, I saw him get grilled by Mace. She was outstanding. I wish I had the clip. But these guys were all backtracking. They couldn't answer questions straight. Once they were confronted with their absolutely ridiculous policies, the whole thing fell apart, and it was kind of glorious to watch. So if you have it on your
you said Mike Johnson.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. Mayor Adams of New York, Mike Johnson of Denver.
Mike Johnson of Denver.
Yeah,
the mayor,
Michelle Wu of Boston and Brandon Johnson.
Yeah, here's a clip from this hearing today, and once again, as I continue to say,
Nancy Mace, I hope you have it. She blew him out of the water.
Keep putting her out there. Here is Democrat lead spokesman for the Democrat Party these days, Jasmine Crockett at the hearing today with these mayors.
To touch on something, because I know that many of you prepared for today's hearing by making sure that you got a little bit of information about immigrants and crime in your cities. Let me ask each of the mayors, just yes or no. Have any of you been made aware of any immigrant that has had 34 felony convictions that has still been able to roam around in your cities? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
34 felony convictions.
No,
from the
Congresswoman.
immigrants. Anybody?
What a straw
I'm not
man.
aware.
I mean, oh, boy.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because we are so concerned about crime, and I know that my Republican colleagues would never want anybody with 34 felony convictions roaming around because that could be a danger to the community, but I will move on.
She's a national treasure, isn't she?
She's such a faceplant. She really does. She thinks she's so cool. She's like, I'm really going to stick it to him this time.
Right.
Watch this one.
Yeah.
What's her first name again?
Jasmine?
Jasmine Crockett S. You know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so.
That was her in the hearing today.
They're still hanging their hat on the
That's what she came up with.
Yeah.
that nonsense.
A couple other quick things. Did you guys see Tulsi Gabbard and the vice president down at the border today, speaking of the border?
No.
It was good. Vice president was good. Took some questions down at the border. I saw Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was there, and Tulsi Gabbard was there. Tulsi gave a quick, about 2-minute speech, but she was pretty fiery. We'll play that if we have time when we get back right after this, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. We're back right after this short break.
So there's been a bunch of super chats. I know Child of the King took care of us early, but I can't find it in my chat, the what the content was. But that guy, hey boy, $17.76. Hey boys, Damon, you ever gonna smoke and share those freedom sticks, or do I need to send Paulie his own box? Trump was a rock star last night. He showed how wretched they are. That guy is one fine dude. Thank you, brother. It's weird how if I go to read something else, it doesn't hold the chat. Yeah, you keep saying that we'll never see anything from the Epstein files, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe if you do these 2 reads tonight, they'll come up.
Aaron, smack him.
Up to 409 likes, 1.2 people watching. Very nice. That's a good ratio, right, kid?
Yeah, I mean, I like it to be over 50%, but it's not terrible.
A lot of people want to sign up for YouTube. That's the
They
problem.
don't have to sign up. All I got to do is hit the thumbs up.
No, you can't hit thumbs up unless you have an account. You have to have a YouTube account to hit a thumbs up.
I don't know about that.
I'll bet you $1.
You're on.
All right, cool.
Fran, is that true?
What? I wasn't paying attention to you.
That you can't like a video on YouTube unless you have an account and signed in?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm rich. I'm a wealthy miser. I have all the money. Pay up now, bro. In fact, would you write on, Paul, you are more computer literate than I am. Yep. It's their partners.
What am I looking for here? Reads. MPS AM.
Oh, Mark Gibbs, by the way, said $5 super chats don't count. I'm sorry, bud. I was I closed I minimized the YouTube, and then it loses, the history of the chat, so I can't see what happened. I think Damon might be able to see it if he goes in the back end, but I apologize. By the way, Mark Gibbs is going to be at Eisenhower Park. He's going to be in a barbecuing contest. Now, I'd like to know who's better, barbecue, Houston or Kansas City. So that's the big debate.
Sound like the blues. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let me talk to you about our friends at My Patriot Supply. How well do you sleep at night? Well, real peace of mind comes from knowing your family is prepared for anything. My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted name in emergency preparedness, is offering a limited time discount on their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. This isn't your typical survival food. Each kit provides over 2,000 calories and 100% of the recommended value of 12 essential vitamins and minerals daily for 90 days, with delicious meals and extras including chicken, beef, fruits, and veggies. We're talking quality meals that last up to 25 years in storage and still taste like they're home cooked. The pandemic taught us how quickly store shelves can be empty. Don't wait for the next crisis. Your 3-month emergency food kit includes free shipping, a disaster replacement warranty, and 24/7 U.S.-based support. That special discount is available for a limited time only. Go right now to MyPatriotSupply.com, MyPatriotSupply.com, now to secure your family's future with a $100 discount. If you order by 3 p.m. tomorrow, they'll ship your order within the same day, so you have peace of mind right away. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. Get that $100 discount. Order by 3 p.m. and they'll ship it same day. Our friends at My Patriot Supply. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Well, did you know you can join AMAC today for just $1? That's right, $1 for a 1-year membership. I want to encourage all of you right now to go to amac.us/studio6b, amac.us/studio6b, and activate this limited time opportunity. Just listen to all that you get for the $1. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, works tirelessly to advocate for the values that matter to you, the American people, the most. Small government, strong borders, election integrity, protecting your constitutional rights. Becoming an AMAC member gives you access to the free advice on Social Security and Medicare, ensuring that you get the help you need when you need it most. As a member, you also stay informed with trusted news through the AMAC's Newsline, the Better for America podcast, and your subscription to the award-winning AMAC magazine. Plus, members enjoy exclusive money-saving discounts on travel, hotels, insurance, restaurants, and so much more. For a limited time, join AMAC and receive all the benefits for just $1 for your first year. Normally $16. You can take advantage of all these benefits now. Help save America for only $1. Go to amac.us/studio6b, amac.us/studio6b, or call 888-262-2006. That's amac.us/studio6b, or call 1-888-262-2006. Join now and save America with AMAC. amac.us/studio6b. All right, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Glad you're in. Let's do some news with Rick Delgado. Then I got a couple other things I want to get to as well. But Delgado, what else is going on in the news?
Well, plenty going on in the news, and some news going on in the chat. In the Rumble chat, Jeff Orrest was remarking on your shoe attire, Damon. Says he noticed that you wear flip-flops.
Okay, very good.
So there you have it. Some news that was confirmed. Hashtag told you. I told you he's always wearing these damn things. No matter what time of year, he's always got his feet out.
It's 50 degrees. It's 53 degrees outside.
Oh, my God.
By the way, we might want to put this video of you dancing here, man. You have some moves, kid. Look at you, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's not.
Send that to me. I'm going to use it in What Even Is It?
You got it.
Go ahead.
All right. Some other news, of course. Let's get to the big news.
I'm sending this to Fred. He's playing
my
this now.
Goodness. I can hear Aaron laughing her butt off in the back. What do you call it? What did she say? Okay. In terms, I was distracted. Abbeygate Mastermind has arrived in the U.S. and will face justice for bombing that killed 13 Americans. You might remember the Trump administration making this a priority. Well, this terrorist accused by the Trump administration of plotting the Abbeygate bombing attack that killed 13 U.S. service members and 168 Afghans trying to flee the Taliban in August of 2021 during the disastrous Biden pullout and retreat. Turns out he has been captured and extradited to the United States. Trump mentioned this during his joint address to Congress last night, and Caroline Leavitt announced it today here in Washington. Here's cut number 11. Here's Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, announcing his arrival and that he is in custody. Cut 11.
After nearly 4 years, President Trump delivered justice for the families of the 13 American heroes who were killed at Abbeygate in the Biden-botched Afghanistan withdrawal, which was one of the worst humiliations in the history of our country. President Trump announced that we have detained Mohammed Sharifullah, the monster who was responsible for that horrific attack, and he was delivered to Dulles Airfield earlier this morning.
Yeah, so there it is. He is now on U.S. soil, in U.S. custody, and let's hope he gets swift justice hard and fast. Speaking of justice, believe it or not, the House is advancing a censure of Democrat Representative Al Green over his unruly behavior at Trump's speech last night. The speech that included cut number 1, which was probably the best line of the night. Let's get this one out of the way real quick. Cut number 1. Here is Donald Trump's mic drop of the evening. Cut 1.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Plenty of moments like that throughout the night last night during the speech that he addressed the joint session of Congress. Here is Representative Al Green, cut number 9. Here he is getting kicked out of the joint session of Congress last night as Donald Trump was speaking. Cut 9. Here, check this out. Mike Johnson making his voice.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Yeah, and immediately following this, Aaron, we can end this here. He's waving his cane. He's upset. The Sergeant-at-Arms comes and they remove him from the House by a vote of 211 to 209. The House voted to move forward with the censuring of Al Green after the House Sergeant-at-Arms escorted him out of Congress over his refusal to follow decorum rules during Trump's speech. According to this, House Speaker Mike Johnson interrupted that speech to make sure that he observed House decorum, which of course he didn't. Any further disruptions, he announced, that was your warning that you just heard. So now he is up for a censure vote, and we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they'll deliver. But what is a censure really? What is it, a slap on the hand, a tersely worded letter? We're going to put this in your file to make sure that people know that you were a bad boy one day. I don't know. So there you have that with Al Green. And you know what? Your poll of the 76% of Americans enjoying what they heard last night. Here is, what do you call it? Here is a CNN poll. Basically backing up everything that we've been talking about. This is cut number 8, CNN poll on Al Green and his antics from last night. Cut number 8. Check this out.
During the course of the event, which is wanting to get reaction on Congressman Al Green's antics and being ejected, 80% of speech watchers said that the Democratic congressman's interrupting of Trump's speech was inappropriate. Only 20% of speech watchers thought what Green did was appropriate, Aaron.
Yeah. So, between 76% on your poll, you got another CNN poll here at 80%.
Tells you the mind virus is evaporating.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
When they were building the studio. Actually moves pretty good. Like that guy with another $5. Oh, Les Bull Durham's got some chin tobacco.
You know, it's funny. I was watching that movie the other night. I think it was on Monday night.
Good movie.
Sorry, Aaron. What do I have to do now?
Holly Lucille.
Are you doing a read right now?
Oh, he's got an interview.
All right, then I'm going to hit the cane.
Okay.
Welcome back. Holly Lucille. Riley Gaines is thinking about running for office.
So nice to see all these female athletes finally standing up together.
It's about time.
It's amazing it took so long. That just tells you what did they say, that being publicly embarrassed, people would rather that than be shot.
Yeah.
People would rather be killed than publicly embarrassed. That guy, $5. Don't worry about taming the cigar Nazi, Paulie. I'll get you your own box of Freedom Sticks. Do you have an email?
You know what? Just send them here to the studio. We'll grab them for you. And they won't go to customs.
That guy, where are you shipping them from? Hey, if I jump up right now during the interview, well, I can come back, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
There's no, it's going to be a two-shot anyhow, right?
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Paul Nolan's doing some news. Rick Delgado's doing some news as well. Slick's off tonight. Checking out his Prince Revolution cover band, I believe is who he's out doing. He'll be back tomorrow night. Vinnie Mac's off for the rest of the week. He'll be back next week as well. Make sure you follow us on all our social media. If you're watching on social media now, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and head over to livefromstudio6b.com, the mothership as well, where you can find all past shows, all of our merch, and everything else at livefromstudio6b.com. Joining us now is one of our favorite people to have on the show, and that, of course, is Dr. Holly Lucille. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she works, of course, with Pure Health Research. And as you know, none of us are getting any younger, and staying healthy is more important than ever. Dr. Lucille, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Great. How are you? Super excited. Lots of things happening in the health world after last night, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, what'd you think? I guess let's start there. What'd you think of the speech last night? RFK Jr. obviously in attendance. Do you have a timeline of things you'd like to see RFK do, like as far as when it comes to vaccines or certain things like that, or things he's going to kind of put on the top of his list to get done? What'd you think of the speech overall? Just give me your thoughts on last night.
I mean, I think it was amazing as far as this space is concerned. We're going to look into things, and like Donald Trump said, let's just get to the bottom of it. Like, our stats here in America are not that great when it comes to overall health outcomes, and we need to understand why, and we need to have some regulation, I have to say, about it. And so, from the additives in food, from the additives in vaccines, so not anti-vax, but safer vaccines. And I think that came across really, really clear. And so I'm super excited about it.
So let's talk about Pure Health Research. I know you work with them. They make some wonderful supplements. I guess for somebody listening for the first time, what can you tell us about the company itself?
I've been consulting in the natural product industry for about 25 years now, and this company just kind of checks all the boxes. They are manufactured right here in FDA oversight facility in the United States. They've got no artificial ingredients, no GMO. If you go to their website, purehealthresearch.com, which I know you'll talk about, and if you look at any of their 40 SKUs, that's how we talk about it, or their products, anything that is in there, you're going to see the product, the ingredients, and each ingredient is going to have a clinical study around it of why it was chosen to be in that product for that health condition. So I love them. They're also very philanthropic. So a lot of their profits go to helping underserved people around the world. And I think they're doing it right. And I love it.
So if you had to tell the audience, if they go to their website or take a look at them, Google them, Pure Health Research, what are the top 3 things that you think they should look at that they're actively making and selling and involved with?
Okay, I love that question, but they love like liver health formula we've talked about. It's amazing, and liver health. This is so important this year. I mean, it just is. But the liver health formula, I think it's kind of like an adrenal formula. Everybody should be on it. The lymph system support also. When we were in the pandemic, it was known that only 12% of us were metabolically healthy. So their blood sugar formula as well. But I have to tell you a story. I have a doctor myself. I kind of walk my talk, and she wanted me to go get my blood analyzed. And I was like, all right, I'll do this. And this guy, without even talking to me, said, do you have pets? And I'm like, I do. And I would have more if I was allowed. And he's like, well, and he showed me on this big, huge, microscope, you have parasites. So they have this product called Parabroom. And I was like, as soon as I saw this and I saw it for myself, I called my team and I'm like, hey, could you send me a couple bottles of that Parabroom stuff? So they have a lot of different supplements with incredible evidence-based ingredients to cover so many health conditions. And so it's just a great company, very prolific in its expansion to conquer health conditions with things that are natural, evidence-based, effective, and safe.
If you're interested in anything of Dr. Holly has mentioned here, head over to purehealthresearch.com where you can find more information about the 45 products they have. You can try them, of course, risk-free. For the next 48 hours only, you can get 35% off your order with coupon code 6B. They're protected by their 365-day money-back guarantee. Can you, Dr. Lucille, what does that mean, 365-day money-back guarantee? So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, it's lovely. You buy something, it doesn't do what we say it's going to do. You just send the customer service team an email or call them, say, you know what, didn't do what I thought, and you will get your money back and no questions asked. Every single penny you spent.
All right, there you go. 365-day money-back guarantee. Of course, an incredible 35% discount is only available for the next 48 hours. So go right now, purehealthresearch.com, purehealthresearch.com, and save 35% on your order with coupon code 6B. Dr. Lucille, thanks again for coming on and telling us about Pure Health Research. We hope people will go over there and check them out.
All right, thanks so much. See
All
you
right,
next
Dr.
time.
Holly Lucille, purehealthresearch.com. Check them out. Good supplements. Of course, you know about the liver health, how important that is, and many other things. So check them out. And again, what a deal. 35% off right now for the next 48 hours with coupon code 6B. Tulsi Gabbard was at the border today talking about the cartels and other things at the border. Here's a little bit of what she said.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your leadership in bringing the country's attention to what has been happening here at the border and the significant change that has already occurred under the short time that President Trump has been in office. Really, what you're seeing here today and what you'll continue to see is a unified effort across President Trump's national security team, the Department of Homeland Security, towards our mission, which is to ensure a safe, free, and prosperous society for Americans. As Director of National Intelligence, there are a number of areas where we are focused. The President talked about in his speech, over 21 million people have come across our borders illegally under Joe Biden's administration. There are many of them that we don't know who they are. They have not been vetted. We don't know where they are. I'll give you one quick example of one of the problems that we are getting after. From Central Asia, there were over 4,000 people who came across our borders using an ISIS-affiliated network. Our National Counterterrorism Center went through and identified those individuals. There were hundreds of them who were either known terrorists or associated with known terrorists. That information was provided to the Biden administration. You may remember in some of the news, a little over 100 of those people were arrested in 2024. Of those who were arrested, only 8 were either deported or remained in custody. Only 8. The rest of them were released back into our country. Where are they? What are they doing? What may they be plotting? This is just the beginning. There are many, many areas that we need to stay very focused on, working with Department of Homeland Security, working with the FBI to ensure that we're keeping the American people safe. Our Counterterrorism Center is working on making sure that we have that single source for vetting so that we can figure out who is actually in our country and identify those who pose a threat and get them removed. The president's designation of the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations falls directly into this, especially as we're seeing some of the tactics that these cartels are using reflect some of the tactics that we've seen used by Islamist terrorists in countries that many of us have served in overseas. Our mission is very clear. Our objective is to keep the American people safe. I'm grateful to be a part of this team that President Trump has assembled to accomplish that mission. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to the border, like many things, especially when it comes to the economy, I don't think we're going to have any idea how bad Biden left it until probably later on this year. It's like it's just like inflation, and it's like the cost of everything, and it's like the underlying economy. You see the Atlanta Fed, they've grown their GDP has gone from, to start the year, they thought maybe 2.8%, maybe down to 2.3. They're now at negative 1.5.
Oof.
So recession, here we come. If the first quarter of this year ends up being negative, like they're now predicting, and then the second quarter is negative, well, there you go. You're in your recession come the third quarter of this year. So I don't think like that, I don't think the border will have any idea of how bad it really was and how bad some of the people who came here really were, probably for quite some time. But as we learn more information, like what we learned from her today and the vice president and the Secretary of Defense there today, it's a total S show, what they allowed for 4 years. And it's going to be impossible to ever catch back up with it. It's just not possible, especially in the time frame we're talking about doing it. And you already see the numbers. You're starting to hear people. I was listening to Breitbart Radio this morning, and the number of deportations still falling off. And, of course, this all comes back to spending as well, the money they want to spend now to get to some of these things that Tom Homan's requested. So just a total mess. All right, what else is going on in the news, Doug Otto? We got a couple minutes here before we hit the break. What else is going on?
All right. Well, I did want to hit some of the highlights from last night because, again, I was out. I'm sure people who didn't catch the president's address may have missed things. Maybe they heard about some great things that he said. Well, here he is. He's talking about, in this cut, number 12, talking about childhood cancer and talking about RFK Jr. as well. Cut number 12. Check this out.
Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America Healthy Again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Wait for the zinger.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget.
Yeah. The other good one he had was how many people in Social Security were over 160? We're healthier than I thought, Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great line. Also, here he is blasting Democrats for trying to weaponize the justice system against them and throw them in prison. This is cut number 14, again, from last night, his speech to Congress, cut 14.
And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
Off script, timing is everything. And there they are with their stupid signs. Just an embarrassment when it comes to the Democrats last night. Of course, showing their true colors, hating this country, hating little kids. They hate women. They basically hate everything. But there it was on full display. And again, between the poll that Damon cited, the poll that we played, between 75 and 80% of Americans like what we're doing, like what this president is doing, love the speech, and they don't agree with the Democrats, especially their shenanigans.
And the amount of eyes that saw it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back to wrap it up on a Wednesday night, live from Studio 6B right after this.
Live in the chat. Man, tonight was a fast show. Let's see what's going on. Oh, where was that? Oh, we've got a rant in Rumble.
Let it rip.
It's from Go MAGA. $10. Delgado, why isn't your shirt orange? UT isn't big gray, you know. What even is that? Yeah, I know. Love the show. You guys are the best. Put on an orange suit. Well, you know what it is? This is what they sold. I like the gray. They have different colors. They have a black version. They have a darker gray version. They have some cool, when you see their football team, Tennessee's football team, they come up with some very cool
uniform with the orange trims.
Yeah, very cool.
As the kids would say, it's dope.
Yeah.
We got someone had a good line in here. The real Teflon Don is what they're calling Trump right now. Who said Prometheus? Good one, buddy. You guys want to meet me when Mark Gibbs comes and does his barbecue contest at Eisenhower Park in April?
What is that?
One of our fond listeners, cool dude. We chat on Facebook for years now. He is a barbecue specialist, and he's in a competition at Eisenhower Park.
I think I heard about that. I think I want to go.
So we have two $1 rants in Rumble from Tempered Wisdom and Butterfly 83 for a new pair of flip-flops for Damon.
Very nice.
$1 a flop.
Very nice. $1 a flop.
I think that's an Old Navy sale.
3-hour show. Bring it. Yeah, we did that last night.
It's in June.
RD Bull, I would call these, David, they want to know, is those sandals?
Yeah.
Or flip-flops?
Sandals.
They look like flip-flops. Right, because the flip-flop has the thing where your toe goes in between, right?
Yeah, that's a thong.
Right.
What would be the
So you got a thong on your feet.
I think it's just semantics.
And then a sandal has like just a piece that goes over your entire foot, but all your toes are together. There's no thong. It could have a strap, sure. So Damon wears flip-flops.
So there you go. Then they would be considered flip-flops by
There you go,
Aaron's
RD
definition.
Bull. Flip-flop.
I believe the ones without the thong piece and without the back strap are called slides.
Ah,
Okay,
yeah.
slides. So there we go.
He doesn't wear slides.
Can the world move on now? All right, 13 to the hour live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. I'll tell you the other thing that caught my attention today, and that is Attorney General Andrew Bailey. And he put this out about 4 o'clock this afternoon. He said, breaking, I am demanding the DOJ investigate whether President Biden's cognitive decline allowed unelected staff to push through radical policies without his knowing and approval. If true, these executive orders, pardons, and any other actions are unconstitutional and legally void.
I could save everybody a bunch of time. They got it all through because he was sleeping.
He said, Dear Mr. Horowitz, I write to request that you conduct a full investigation into President Biden's mental capacity in his final days in office. By now, Biden's mental decline is famous. Under the 25th Amendment, his inability to make decisions should have meant a succession of power. Instead, it appears staffers and officers in the Biden administration may have exploited Biden's incapacity so they could issue orders without an accountable president of sound mind approving them. That would explain why the Biden administration's orders were aggressively much farther to the left than any previous president. If, in fact, Biden staffers were exploiting his mental decline, these orders are null and void. The states need to know because those orders affect all of us. For example, the Biden White House purported to vacate the death sentences of several convicted murderers who committed their crimes in here, Missouri. As the Supreme Court recently held, states like Missouri can criminally try individuals under state law, even if they already were prosecuted under federal law. States like Missouri need to know whether to pursue that path or similar paths. Biden was forced to drop out of the 24 race because of his obvious decline, but his decline was evident well before that. As Speaker of the House Mike Johnson recently reported, Biden did not know what orders he was signing. In January of 24, when Johnson asked Biden about a moratorium on energy exports to Europe, he says, Johnson asked Biden about the moratorium on exports to Europe. Biden informed Johnson that he thought he had merely signed an order authorizing a study on the exports. In addition, last February, Special Counsel Hur released his report, if you remember that, in which he described the loudest public alarm about Joe Biden's mental acuity. Special Counsel Hur described Biden as an elderly man with a poor memory who could not even remember when he was vice president, or even within several years when his son passed away. If Biden could not even form a mens rea for allegedly criminal activity, which is a pretty low bar, how can anyone have confidence he had the capacity to make decisions as the chief executive of the United States? There are profound reasons to suspect that Biden's staff and political allies exploited his mental decline to issue purported presidential orders without his knowing approval. In addition to the speaker's recounting of Biden's complete misunderstanding of the energy document he signed, those closest to Biden appear to have worked hard to hide his decline so they could retain influence that they otherwise would not have had. Speaker Johnson reported that staff and elected officials, including Vice President Kamala Harris, former Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, tried to prevent Johnson from meeting with Biden. Though presidents have always been gatekeepers, in Biden's case, the walls around him were higher, the controls were greater. Donors and aides who worked for Biden, staff was limited. Biden's ability to speak with others was limited. Sources of information that he consumed was limited. Prominent DNC fundraiser Lindsay Lee recently acknowledged that Biden was not in charge. Finally, there's a streak of extraordinary far-left orders purportedly issued by Biden. And then he goes through the orders and basically says, I thus ask you to launch an investigation or refer my request to another investigating body to determine which of Biden's purported orders were knowingly issued by a competent president and which were not. Who was running the country for the last few years? I feel that Mr. Biden, while he held the office, did so in name only, and a mere puppet for far-left unelected staffers. The people deserve to know the truth. I call on you to investigate whether it was Biden or others who took these executive actions. If it was not Biden, then the people should know whatever actions he took were null and void. Andrew Bailey, Missouri Attorney General. What do you think of that?
That's going to be tough to prove. Unfortunately.
That would seem like an uphill climb.
Yeah. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, they'd have to go through all the bureaucrats and plow through their emails, because there's going to be a trail of what they're talking about. What are we going to get them to do? Hey, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's have him sign off on this. Do you think he'll do it? He doesn't read it. You know, they'll have those conversations, hopefully.
Yeah.
And maybe that can piece it together. But it's going to be a tough hoe to row, as they say.
8 minutes ago, Eric Daughtry says President Donald Trump signing an executive order as soon as Thursday to abolish the Department of Education. Just as we were talking about it tonight.
That was breaking from
explode.
That was breaking from the Wall Street Journal.
All right, what else is in the news, Delgado? Let's call your attention here as we wrap it up. And then,
you know what? I really wanted to get to this clip because I feel like I normally don't get all wishy-washy, right, when I watch some of this stuff. But last night, when Donald Trump made DJ Daniel a Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
See, I'm even having trouble talking about it. It's kind of a long clip, so we'll try and get as much as we can in here. Cut 13. Just watch this. This is an incredible moment for this kid.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
The kid is definitely overwhelmed. He was expecting all this.
See the video of him getting berated outside?
No.
It's terrible.
I just can't understand Democrats not acknowledging. Like, you hate kids that much?
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Like I said, this is just awesome. Watch this. Yeah, the hug just kills me.
This jet is so good.
Yep.
Sit down, Democrats. We don't need you.
Yeah, pretty wild that none of them found the ability to stand news to that. All right, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron Frank, great job. Most of all, thank you. Live from Studio 6B audience. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m., right here live from Studio 6B.